My name is Molly Yeh, and I'm a cookbook author, food blogger, and TV host. I've been wearing Warby since 2012, and I currently wear the Jane frame. I was so excited when I first realized I needed glasses because my sister growing up, she always had glasses, and I always had good sight, but I was always so jealous of how cool they looked. And it was when I was reading music that I noticed that I think I needed glasses. I'm originally from Chicago, and I moved to New York to study percussion at Juilliard. But while I was there, I fell in love with the food scene. And I started my blog as an extension of my diary. My blog is called My Name is Yeh. It's mostly about food, but I also love blogging about the farm and about fashion sometimes and travel. And so it's a little bit of a bunch of different things, but it's mostly about food. So my husband's from this farm in Minnesota. He was living in New York when we met, but we decided to come back here, and now we're living on this beautiful farm in Minnesota, and it's great. On this farm, we grow sugar beets, soybean, and wheat. We also have pet chickens and a pet rhubarb patch. My cookbook, Molly on the Range, is a collection of all of my favorite recipes. So it's recipes inspired by growing up in the suburbs in Chicago in the 90s, and then living in New York, and then moving to this farm in the upper Midwest. It's also inspired by my Chinese and Jewish heritage. So it's kind of this great big melting pot of tastiness. My Chinese and Jewish heritage is my favorite influence in my cooking. The flavors from each of those cuisines are so good and comforting to me, and so I love using them and mixing them together, and then also using them as kind of an entry point to learn more about my heritage. So it goes both ways. I have this new show, Girl Meets Farm, and I'm so excited about it because the food, like my cookbook, is just a lot of my favorite foods. There's an episode where my dad comes to visit and we make Chinese food, and there's an episode where my mom comes to visit and we make her brisket. It's all very colorful. There are a lot of sprinkles involved too. If I could only bake 3 things for the rest of my life, I would bake cake, challah, and macaroni and cheese. Does macaroni and cheese count?